Good evening, everyone. Welcome to an episode of SIS Table Talk. I am your host, Monique Denton. Look, we are super excited. We have the Black Genius School here with us again this evening, Miss Tramaine and also Miss Charity. I am super excited to hear about the updates. Ladies, please let us know what's been going on with Black Geniuses School. How are the geniuses doing? What programs do you have? And at the end of the show, we didn't do this the last time, but I really want to do some Black history facts. So,
Ooh. Okay.
introduce yourselves. Tell us about the school. Tell us a little bit about the curriculum and what type of updates. What's new?
Sure. Well, we're Black Genius School. We help Black families educate their elementary age students in Black and African history, and so we think it's important for little brown babies to see themselves and to be empowered by what they see in not just media, but also as we look back to history and even the history that's being made today. As the world continues to be and exist, so it's really exciting. We started out doing Black Genius School as a supplemental class for families once a month on a Saturday, which we still do. But those families have been sharing with us how important it is to kind of get things on demand and quicker things that they can do on their own. And so we've been listening to the genius families that we get to hang out with. Who are awesome, and you ask how they're doing, like they're still genius. Like at the end of the
Right.
day, we are always. I'll just say we're just always amazed by the just by the breadth of wisdom and knowledge these babies have, and it humbles us all the time, and it's exciting just to be a part of their journey in a very small way. For some of our geniuses, we're one of a couple of Black teachers they even have ever had, and so it's really fun that we get to be part of their lives in this way, and in some ways for them to really be part of our family. So they've told us what they want, and we're trying to be mindful in here. So we just started the Black History for Families membership. This week we launched that as an opportunity to get Black history on demand for families.
Wow, that is awesome. So, for those that are new to Black Genius School, when you say geniuses, I know who you're talking about. So, just let the audience know when you say geniuses, and I absolutely love it. Who are you referring to? Who are the geniuses?
Yes. So our geniuses are our students essentially. So we believe that every student, every person really has a talent and a gift to give the world, and so in their own right, they're geniuses. And we believe that that's important because a lot of times, especially in schools where our children may not be the majority, they are not encouraged or emphasized as being geniuses, and so we like to just pour that into them and give them that positive reference because it truly is who they are.
Wow.
So
I mean, I love it. So, how did this whole idea of Black history? So, let's just talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Creating a Black history curriculum. How did that develop and when did it develop?
sure, I'll take this one, Charity. So this developed during COVID. So Charity was living with me with her two boys, and the kids. This was the early stages of COVID, so the kids were at home. This was pre remote learning, so they had like workbooks, and well, my daughter had workbooks. Her sons had like printouts from the school,
Mhm.
and they would do different things, and so like I think the what really started a lot of this was her son was learning about Lewis and Clark, and my daughter, ever the Black history, guru, was like, "Well, where were the Black people?" And so we're like, okay, let's see what happened around that time. So I went online, like, okay, what was the time frame? Who can I pull out? So we started talking about, I think, like Black inventors or something. And then my daughter actually has like these Black history cards, flashcards, and so she would come to the table every day, like, who are we going to talk about today? And so we just started incorporating, different Black history facts or events into their time, what we call table time. Um, and they went forward, and then we asked them to like basically be invested in sitting at the table every day to do their schoolwork in addition to learning the history piece. And we asked them to name it, and they named it Black Genius School. So we just kept the name that they gave us. So it's,
And
this
now
is a kid, yeah, kid created.
started by your children, which I love. They voiced a need.
Mhm,
And as parents, we listen and you listen. And then
mhm,
not only that, you made it available, which I think is wonderful. I
mhm.
mean, that just to think about a conversation and curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Created this entire business and organization to teach and educate children on Black
Mhm.
history. And what I love is that even though it's Black history, that it's not just Black children that are enrolled in your
Correct.
program. So, can you tell us a little bit about the diversity of your geniuses?
Sure. So, we didn't know what we were, we just said black families. And so then families started showing up, and we were like, oh, well, we need to be mindful that the black family looks a whole lot of ways these days, right? And
Yes,
so we have international families. We have who one of the parents is typically from somewhere on the continent, on the motherland, and then other forms of interracial couples. And then we have families who are white who have adopted African American children who value their children learning their history and knowing their identity. So we were really sort of just blown away by the diversity, exactly the diversity of what it means to be a black family these days. And so that's what our audience looks like. There are black children in black in with black parents, and then they're interracial, international, foster families, adopted families. It's a really beautiful thing.
well, I love it, and everybody feels included. So
Oh yeah.
that's also that diversity, equity, and inclusion piece. Is
Mhm.
that even though you're teaching Black history, all everyone's invited to participate. All children are included, and
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
right. It's important. The same with the curriculum and the education in school. All children are learning specific curriculums about specific groups. So why not share the love and everybody learn
I like that.
a little bit, learn a
Mhm,
little bit about us. So
mhm,
when you think about the membership, and I was really lit, and I was like, wow, this is amazing to have access to something on a monthly basis, on a regular basis, programming that you can share. Give us a little bit more details about the membership and how you think the membership would be beneficial to families.
I mean, I'll go. For we want to be. I think a lot of people, we care about Black history. But I don't know that we really do more than that, right? We care about it,
mhm.
like we care. We
Right,
think it's important. But really, what the membership does is put something behind that for you. So if you really do care, and you're also, like you have already kind of mentioned, mindful of like where various states are going in the United States, as far as saying that we won't be covering Black history, for example. And if you can see the future that is potentially that, or that really will be a reality, then the question is, where will our children learn about themselves for real? And if we're all about Black History 365, this is what the membership allows you to do, is to have this really be an integral part of your family, an integral part of day-to-day life and conversations, where it's not strange for to be in the line at school getting ready to go, and you're doing affirmations inspired by Bessie Coleman in the car. Like it's just part
right,
of who you be. And so that's
right.
what we're really helping families to give them some tools so that they can do that. And so some of the tools that you get in the membership are Black History fact cards. And so that's your general. Here's the information about a certain person, and usually it's going to be one or two people a month. And then on top of that, then we get to model having these kind of conversations with our own geniuses. And so, like, Tramaine will talk with my niece, Serena, and they'll talk about Bessie Coleman. She'll ask about ways how their worlds overlap, or what can she take from her story into her own. And so we provide prompts and questions so that there can be, a healthy conversation. And then I really feel like that's one of the ways that this stuff sticks and stays, because we'll be out doing something, and then all of a sudden one of our kids will like reference something we've been talking about,
Mhm.
because it's not like a lesson, it's just been part of like how we do life.
Yeah.
So the Black History fact cards, and then there's And then there are the
Affirmations.
affirmations,
Hmm.
which are we started in every class we have with affirmations. And so my little guy who's Levi, he is the little encourager, and so he writes the affirmations and he gets all excited about sharing them. So he and I model what those affirmations look like, how to do them. We kind of do a call and response, if you will. And then he talks about what they mean and what they mean to him and his in for him right now. And then we do a nice little design. You can get the affirmations downloaded, put them on the refrigerator or whatever, wherever you want to put them, or just have them on your phone and be able to recall. And then every month we'll do some sort of special additional piece, which is like a hands-on piece. It could be an experiment or an activity, a list of resources, a list of books, or a list of movies, or downloads. And so we'll give people that. So that's another additional thing that the family can do together. And then there's a whole community, everybody being together in one place, being able to share how it's going, sharing all these things and what things people are learning and what kind of fun stories are coming up. So we call that the village circle. And so really being able to be in community, which I really believe is, it's the oral tradition of what it means. All of our history was passed orally, right? And so I
Right,
think
right.
we really kind of are honing in on that in the membership. And it's an opportunity. There's so many amazing things. One, a student, a genius could go through this on their own. Parent could give them the phone. Here's the app. Look all the things up. And
Wow.
or the mama, and I love how Tina said this, a parent could go through and learn it all on their own and then look real brilliant. The thing is like, I got you. Let me
Exactly.
tell you about. So you can
Start
play it however you want.
discussing facts. Right. Oh yeah, I knew this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that,
Wow.
hey, as a parent, that you want to come off like you know what you're talking about sometimes. And stuff like, hey, you cheat, not really cheat, but you
Right.
learn it first, and then that puts you in a different spot. And I think that also your kids will revere you more,
Mm,
because it's coming from you,
Right.
and
Right.
and you're learning with them as well. So I
mhm,
think that's always a powerful interaction.
mhm,
And
You
then
know,
we're able to, participate in the education without doing all the hard work. Because
exactly.
one of the things that really stood out is when you talked about the list of different movies and things like
Hmm.
that you put out monthly. And I'm like, how great is that? Where if you want to look something up, you don't have to Google
mhm,
Right.
because you can find this information by being part of the membership because you
mhm,
give us different movies on Black history, in addition to the Black history facts, the affirmation cards. So I think that's wonderful.
Mhm.
What are the long term effects
mhm,
for children that participate in this type of education? Even in terms of confidence
mhm,
boosters, but what do you feel are really the long term? What's the long term impact?
Okay, I'll go on that one. I think obviously, like you said, confidence, and that's a big reason why we incorporate affirmations as well, because that's something that they can pull out of their pocket as needed. Not physically, but like, I'm having a hard day. Oh, I am a genius. I am able. I can accomplish anything, whatever the affirmation is. That can replay and help them go through that day. But I also feel like, with what we're doing, it teaches them that they matter,
Yeah,
and that in itself is enough to navigate through the day sometimes. And then I think also just being able to see yourself represented. So that's part of our mission. It says that we do this so that that our children will see themselves represented and know what's possible now and in the future. And so by learning, Black history, by learning Black history, they're being exposed to people from Africa, people from the ancient Africa, people from today, athletes, scientists, chemists, astronauts, the whole, spectrum. We're not just talking about Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, we haven't even covered them. How about that?
when you
you
said
know,
athletes, I was like, wow, that's interesting because you think about Black history, that's who I'm thinking about: Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King. I'm thinking about Maya Angelou.
Mhm.
Um, that, but you're covering from, I mean, up to present, Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama,
Hmm.
LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Beyonce?
I
I
love
don't
it.
know. Beyonce may have made it from one of the ones that the genius, because we like when we do classes, we always have a genius led class, and I think somebody may have done Beyonce for
Mhm.
that. But yeah, I mean, we make it a variety because we want them to see. First of all, I think if you teach kids all these people from the past, it
Hmm.
doesn't make it, to me, it doesn't make it real that it's possible now. So to do a variety of that, I think it shows them like, okay, this is what people have gone through for me to be able to do this. But then here are these people today that are still doing it. And so it is
Yes.
possible. So I think bridging those two things, those two components together, really builds a solid foundation for our geniuses, and really allows them to see that it is possible. And we even talk about, we're talking about Bessie Coleman because she's the first part of the first month here. But Bessie Coleman charted her own path. When all the doors were closed, she's like, okay, let me figure out another door. And so being able to teach that to anybody really is
Mhm.
phenomenal. But being able to teach that to a 5 to 11-year-old, I mean,
Wow.
yeah.
So as we get to, we have a few more minutes, but let's just talk about Bessie Coleman a little bit. So I was talking about some Black History facts, which I think would be great to give us a couple on this show.
Hmm.
So can you tell us about Bessie Coleman?
That's
Sure.
all Miss Tramaine. She the main teacher.
Uh,
I love
Yeah.
it.
So Bessie Coleman, for those who do not know, was the first African American um, female pilot to obtain an international pilot's license. There's a lot there. So essentially, she grew up very smart, and she learned about women flying planes during World War I, and the women were flying the planes in France. The United States hadn't gotten there yet. So this is before who everybody knows, Amelia Earhart. She did it all before Amelia. Okay. um, and so she thought it was a great thing, and she was like, hey, how do I do this? So she started going around to schools here in the US trying to get in, and of course they wouldn't accept her because she was black and she was a woman. You know, and she was like, I really want to do this. So she started teaching herself to speak French. She was working a couple of jobs, and she also ended up with some sponsorship from some of the black businesses in Chicago. And she made her way to France, and she did it. She went to flight school, and she became a pilot.
And then she started
And
her own school.
she
Like,
wanted to start her own school. However, she died before that happened.
mm,
But she wanted to open a school that was available to everybody. And even though her dream of opening that school didn't happen, um, she is revered in the flight community.
mm,
And there was a flight school or I would say a flight club, I would call it, in California, that was named after her. And our second person that we're talking about this first month actually went to that flight club, and
oh, wow.
yeah, and he went on to make history just like Bessie Coleman. But
Wow.
there are schools and streets and parks and all kind of things named after her today. So
So
that's a
all
little
the
bit about
parents
Bessie.
that are listening, did you get that Black History fact about Bessie Coleman? So as we get to the end of the show, I want to, recognize you for starting this. You are creating Black history and you're creating legacy. You
mm,
had this idea, you
mhm,
listened to your children, they had questions, and you really took this and built it into something and made it resourceful and educational, not just for your children, but for other children and families and diverse children and families. And this is global. So for those of you that might be right here in the US saying, okay, and that's the wonderful thing about the world that we live in now with everything being virtual.
Technology,
Um,
yes.
this is not just for US, this is global. So the Black Genius School, this is a global movement. It's not just for children here. there are children that are part of this whose
Mm-hmm.
parents are from other countries.
Mhm.
So I urge all the parents, you know, um, I don't want to say that this is like our little cheat sheet, but this is kind of our cheat sheet. Join
Yes.
the membership, get the information,
I love that.
and you can also share the information with your children. But again, I want to thank you and give kudos to you for creating this, for staying steadfast with the vision. I know how it is as business owners, especially minority women business owners. It gets tough,
Yes.
but to continue to grow, and stay steadfast in the vision, I know it's going to be a great thing. Listen, everyone, the membership information, the website is at the bottom of the screen, www.blackgeniusschool.com/BHF-membership. What is the membership price? Because I know someone, I know that they're probably thinking, okay, so how much is it to be a part of this?
Sure, it's just $25 a month, and on the 15th of every month, we'll release a whole new package of content and for families. So it's just
Wow.
$25 a month, and we thought that
Okay.
was hopefully super reasonable, right, for families to invest in their geniuses in a way that, as we know, the world isn't always doing. So
That is absolutely reasonable. I want to thank you, ladies, once again. I'm also going to put this in the chat on YouTube. Listen, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe.
mhm.
Please like, share. We're also going to share this on Facebook and LinkedIn. Charity and Tramaine, you ladies are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
So
Thank
are
you.
you.
Yes,
you.
awesome. You're awesome.
Look, we have to do this more often, and it would be great to do something. If you have a presentation by the geniuses or something that you would like to share, I would love to share that during our
Mhm.
next broadcast. I
Fun.
think
Okay.
it would be great for everyone to see. And then also, you have a YouTube channel. So
We
where
do.
can we find you on YouTube?
Think it's just Black Genius School. So yep, you can look at just Black Genius School. We should be on YouTube with a few of our things, and then we have several videos on our new on the membership page that we just shared today, so that you can kind of see behind the scenes in the membership. Also, some clips from the geniuses talking
Classes.
about South Africa and sort of that whole experience they had. So yeah, going straight to the membership page will give you also a little bit of content too.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you,
Oh, thank
women
you.
Welcome.
entrepreneurs. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow at 7:30. Charity and Tremaine, have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. You
Be
too.
well. Stay
Bye
genius.
bye, everyone.